What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sick Boys Podcast. I'm your host, JD Denham, and my good buddy, always looking freaking dapper, is my good friend, Justin Wenzel. Look at how good, dude. You just got style, dog. You are just style. I love it. Love that
Oh
about you.
man,
That
thank you.
beard's looking burly. You always got the good gear. I love it. It's good to see you.
Well, you know what? Let's just do our quick shout out to Tribrid Society Beard Care. We are like on like we're almost there. We're almost there to launch.
Yeah, man.
And so yeah, just real quick before we dive into this, I want everybody to know, and I know you are too, and I know Jeremy is as well, but I can speak for myself and I can speak for everybody too, but I am exceptionally excited about this project. If you can't tell, I've been like literally on it like fucking stink on shit right now. But I am so excited about this project. I believe in this project. And as far as the product goes, I've only been using that since we got it, but all the way through traveling in Tulum, being in the jungle, not washing my beard consistently, but always needing to be styled because we went out to like extravagant dinners and everything every single night. And
Saw
dude,
that.
I'm telling you right now, and when I say this, I mean it. I have used almost every single upscale, nice, trending beard brand out there, and nothing holds a candle to it, period. And
That's
and
good.
although it may sound biased, it's not, because I'm an honest critic, right?
Yeah, I get it.
But
I'm saying there.
but I know the care that went into creating the product, and I know for my beard and your beard and Jeremy's, which all three of us have different consistent beards,
Totally.
different whatever. The other night I was laying next to Christina and she was running her hands through it, and she's like, "Your beard is softer than my hair." And I was like, "Well, I've heard a little bit about what a salon visit is, and I'm using my beard balm, and it's literally the softest it's ever been." So,
It's
anybody listening
sick.
to this that is an actual grown man and can grow a real beard, I would suggest you one, follow us at Tribrid Society Beards on Instagram, and two, be prepared to purchase the best beard product ever. Let's move on from that, but that's my plug right
I
now.
love it though, but
And
like the cool thing too, because I was gonna say here when we started that we've been busy, and you know how I know that without talking to you because I haven't talked to you. When you and I are not talking every day, we've obviously been busy. I have just been freaking just go 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 go. Like 2026, man, I have just been coming out swinging, and that's why I love you, man. We just think big, we do big, we put the action behind it. I love your passion for the beard. We're gonna kill it, man, because why the hell not?
right.
Why the hell not? I
Ooh,
mean,
this
dude,
is
like
this is the year for it. This is
money's
this is
great,
oh
but
yeah.
you know what, dude? Doing cool shit, that's even better. Like doing cool shit with buddies and like even that stuff like Jeremy was saying how Netflix was gonna do that little thing. We'll have a little cameo on Netflix. That's just a plus for us, man. But like that's what when you think about things, when you like that law of attraction, when you know you're worth it, you're worth it. And I know
Hmm.
that's actually a good segue into what we're going to talk about today, because if you don't know you're worth it, you're not going to attract any type of financial growth. You're always going to be down here. It's such a mindset. Tap into that a little bit, because I know that Justin, you and I think so much like that, and we've talked about it, and you've been successful for an extremely long time. So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's dig into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Mindset, law
So
of attraction to a degree.
100%. So it's funny because like routine process stuff like that has a lot to do with any sort of success in life, right? Like your standard operating procedures, right? And that's all fantastic. And you can achieve a certain amount of success. But going back to what you said is like what we get to do is cool shit and stuff like that. I do not have a source of income that I'm not like that comes from something that I'm not passionate about. That's not something that I have a ton of fun doing. That's not with people that I love doing at work with.
Right.
You will never hear me come home from work and be like, well, I work from home, but you know what I mean? But like all the hours person comes home from work and like my boss is a dick. right? Or you'll never believe this client that I had to sit with, or
Yeah.
Janice in
Yeah.
accounting, she's just
Right.
such a wench, right? Like you will never hear that happen, right? And so, yeah, sure, maybe I've been good in the auto industry, and maybe I made some money back then and stuff like that. But here's the thing: when you begin to show consistency in your life, when you begin to stack receipts of like stuff saying like, oh, I kept promises to myself, oh, I took that risk, oh, I actually did what I was going to what I actually did what I said I was going to do, right? Well, now you have something that causes that builds confidence, right? And confidence starts to attract. So here's the thing: as we continuously do that, we open up more doors for more opportunity, right?
Huge.
When you are confident, when you have the routine down, you have the discipline down, you have all of that, well, now you start to attract other people that are confident, right?
Huge.
And that have a lot going on for them. And those people don't have time for Janice in accounting, who can't keep her fucking mouth shut about Jim in fucking in the finance department, right? Like it doesn't we just don't attract that anymore. And
It's true.
that's something that, like, so now all of a sudden you're around everybody and you have more opportunity available to you. So yeah, sure, being successful for a long time, or being able to generate income, or good at my job or whatever, was part of it, but that was from standard operating procedure. Being successful in what I love to do is because I have built the confidence to make decisions and execute on them, to build a life where I get to enjoy my job. I love what I do,
Really. Look at
right?
what we do for a
So
living, bro. We're on a podcast.
do you have a source of income that comes in that you're not excited about, how
Now,
you get it?
my life has radically changed with my mindset changing.
Yeah.
That attraction, like, I think we come from similar spots to the degree where you come from the car industry, I come from the mortgage industry. There's good money in
Yeah.
that industry. I did
But
well.
were
We
you
did well.
excited about were you excited about going into the
No,
into
it's
the office?
not even close. I mean, again, like I don't know when you caught up to what I'm about to say, but for me, it's been the last 5 years. There's been radical change, and the radical change, the genesis, was being around the right man. Okay, I was the mortgage industry slowed. I started working for a guy who did this type of stuff. He's got a huge financial channel, YouTube, podcasts, all this stuff. Right, I've talked about him many times. But he thought different. He thought completely different. He knew his worth and he wore it all over himself. So I started working for him, and that is infectious, right? It changed me. It changed me. It changed the way I looked at life, and it changed the way that I attracted all these things. I started being around men and women who were totally different. They didn't ever work for anybody. They had multiple businesses, like you just said. They had all kinds of revenue sources that they generated. They generated. They didn't work for anybody. And so me leaving the mortgage industry, where would say most people would say was had a successful career, moving into this type of thing where there's no lid. There's no lid here. Like, what type of creativity do you have as the lid, right? And so my experience is that I started hanging out with him, being around these type of people. It started to change my mindset, which started to elevate me. And then I started to realize I can do this, and then I became worth it. And for a lack of a better way to say it, here's where most people are, where they just settle and they have that mindset, like, I'm going to go to a job and I'm just going to like pay my bills and wait till the next paycheck comes, and that's just how it is. And then you kind of start to elevate. We've talked about this, but you're kind of over here and there's not as many people over here, so you're kind of like trying to find your way. And like how you and I kind of connected, we kind of found each other, and then we elevate here because we're like, we think the same, we want the same, we have that creativity that's just like boom, 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 boom. Hey, let's do a beard company. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Yes, and what else? What
Yes,
else you
and
got?
well,
So it's
yeah.
mindset. It is just it's mindset and a lot of stuff and a lot of action behind the mindset. But I think the power in all of it is knowing you are freaking worth it. If you think if you think poor, you're gonna be poor. I posted something today of my stack, and it's a lot of times when I do that, wish I don't do it because just the comments, you know. Now I have a gal that goes through most of my comments, but I'll read some of them, and it's like some people are like, "How do you afford that?" and all this stuff, right? And I'm like, "Listen, man, if you think like that, you're never going to afford it. Like, why don't you start knowing you're worth it and you can afford it because I can afford whatever I want? How about you start thinking like that and have these
Well,
kind
100%. That's where the brain goes though, right? Like somebody sees something and they're like, how could that be real?
yeah.
How like
Who can afford that? Well, a lot of people can
right.
afford it because I sell it to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You know? It's
Um,
awesome.
uh, the brain. So to the guy who is sitting here listening to this and wondering, like, oh, these guys, whatever, whatever. Like, okay, listen, understand that we weren't always this way. But one, and I can imagine that at one point your brain was wired the same way as most people who
100.
are, right? It's negative. It's always scarcity. It's always negativity. It's always the things that create.
I'll
So the
never be
guy that you're
rich. I'll never be wealthy.
right, right,
I'll never be able
and
to,
even
like,
if they start,
rent a plane where we've talked about flying to Cabo, remember, like,
yeah,
I don't mean to, like, throw this
just
out there,
charter
we
a
can afford
jet.
it, but, like, if you think that you can't, you won't. You know what I
And
mean?
so because people are so wired in the negative, they ultimately waste a lot of time, right? The guy that you're talking about that chalked it up to this is just how life is. Well, he doesn't truly believe that, right? That's just what he tells himself because he's stuck in that negative pattern. So wasting time and negativity is like the two things that are ultimately the product of indecision.
It'll kill you, man. Like, why would you wanna be a damn dude in the stands talking shit on the dudes, like, in the field? Don't ever be that guy. Don't ever be that guy because, 1, let me just say it out loud. Like guys like us, I don't give a shit about your opinion in the stands, bro. Stands, bro. No offense. Like
Yeah,
it
sit back
doesn't
down.
mean nothing to me, bro. Like no offense. Like I'm down on the field trying to make life a better place for me and like the world and my family. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is, dude. So like those words mean nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Don't be
yeah.
that
Well,
guy.
yeah, and it is, it comes off arrogant, but like you don't want that around you. So when you say like sit back down, dude, or head back to the kiddie pool, right? Like and the problem is, or not the problem, but like the thing is and a lot of times, you have to remind people that like, look at man, this is the product of me making decisions. This is the product of me taking risks. This is the product of like me putting in the work, staying consistent, and all of that. This is the product of my mindset. And so if you're the dude in the stands yelling at the guy in the field, well, first of all, fuck off, go back to the kiddie pool because you haven't done the work. You haven't taken that leap. You sat there and all you did was think about the negative, thinking about how something's not possible. It will never happen to me, or what if I fail, or what if I run out of money, or what if whatever. Like it's that's if that's where your thinking is, then all you're going to do is waste time. Ultimately, you're not going to even make a decision. Most likely, you're going to distract yourself, tire yourself out. Because think about this real quick. People who are constantly spinning in the negative, what are they always doing as well?
Dude, they're feeling sorry for themselves. Poor
But
me. It's
what
just
what is the
oh,
action that they do?
nothing.
Well, that's true. But what else? Like what we're on the same page, but they consume. Right? And the world is filled with creators and consumers, right? And so they consume, right? So when somebody goes into that situation where they're like wasting time, stuck in indecision, stuck in fear, stuck in all of that stuff, they'll instantly go grab a bag of chips. They'll instantly open their phone and just doom scroll mindlessly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Totally.
you know what I mean? Like that's how people numb themselves. They'll go reach for the bottle, they'll overeat, they'll go to the drugs, they'll go to porn, they'll go to gambling, they'll go to all of those things. Because it's a fix from the fear, right? And from the scarcity and from all the negativity that they live in. And you see it all the time. Just so you understand, that's the vast majority of people. And
Dude,
I never want to dog on the
I call it the
listeners, but
97.
most, yeah,
97%.
yeah. And I would tell you this, that if somebody's listening to this and they're like, well, that's not really it, then that's you. then that's you. Because if you
We're talking
can't
about
see
you.
it, it's so fucking, yeah, we're talking about you because it's so fucking blatantly obvious that if you're the person that's like, well, no, I don't think, I don't know. Oh, you don't see it because you're too busy doing it.
Yeah. We've talked about this before, but I want to bring it up because it's a very, very, very good point. If you're somebody listening to this and you and you can look yourself in the mirror and realize that you're who we are talking about, which might be even rare in itself. But let's just say you catch up to that perspective and you know we're talking about you. Listen, like your mind cannot be negative when it's positive. They can't be both. You can't be negative and positive. So you can retrain your brain by doing little tasks. I've talked about this I think with Tony last week, but let's bring it up again because it's important. Get up in the morning and freaking think about all the positive things. You have breath in your lungs. You have a bed to sleep in because you just got out of it. Whatever. It doesn't matter, even if your life sucks. You have some positive things. You're alive when people are dead. So get up, and while you're walking to take a piss or walking to turn the coffee on, whatever your morning routine is, roll through the tape of all the things that you are grateful for. I'm telling you, I have seen umpteen men change their lives with this little procedure. Start to think positive. You start your day off on a positive. You cannot be negative if you start to roll the tape of all the positives. By the time you're having your first cup of coffee, right? 5 minutes later, you're in a positive mindset. Now you can be centered and start to spend some time with yourself by thinking, like one of the things that changed my life was, we've talked about it, but I think Think and Grow Rich, that book changed my freaking life. It just gave me a different perspective. I loved it so much. I read it twice right in a row. I'm like, that is freaking rad. And I started implementing those things. For example, I think you and I have talked about it. So if not, I would drive home from the mortgage company. I'd be in 45 minutes of traffic, and I would literally think of myself being extremely wealthy. Now, I don't care about wealth to the degree, but I was just putting my mindset in that frame, thinking of myself walking onto a jet, like my own jet, like, like the movie stars. I was seriously thinking of myself sitting in these types of things, thinking of myself running huge companies. And I would literally, the whole way home, it's hard to do that. You have to literally act like that's you. And that is freaking hard. But I did it on the way home every freaking day. Okay. Now that was years ago. Okay. Some of those things have accumulated now. That was years ago. Life, the world, law of attraction, there's no time limit. Just because you say it's not going to, it comes at its own time. That was like 10 years ago, whatever it was, a long time. I've caught up to some of those things 10 years later that I literally was manifesting here. That's how rad that stuff works. It really freaking works because it starts to change your freaking mindset. And two, you start to train your brain like you want to build muscles, you got to push them to their limits, right? You got to change that brain, you got to change that mindset. And again, know you're worth it. See yourself wealthy. See yourself in a slick suit, dude, like Justin, like all dimed out, like looking dope, right? Think of yourself like that. Whatever the things that you want, it's a freaking muscle and you have to work on it. It's mindset. It's mindset. If you think negative, dude, you are attracting negative. If you're a guy in my comments and going, oh, who can ever afford those peptides, right? A lot of people. So you're never going to afford them because wealthy people don't talk like that. I know that sounds silly, but like, that I'm right. Like, think about it. You know what I mean? Wealthy people don't
Yeah.
talk. Wealthy
Well,
people
because
don't bag on
we
other
have a
people.
well, there's a filter, right? There's a filter for what we deem as acceptable, right? And it comes all the way to like where you set your standards, right? Like no, like it has been well over a year since I've had any sugar, like any dessert. Like I haven't on my birthday. You
Shut
were
that
at you
shit.
were with me on my birthday, like right? Like it's been like I don't why I don't. It's not because I'm like oh it's going for my goals. No, because it's fucking beneath me now. Like sorry for anybody listening. It's like well it's just sugar, it's just dessert. Like it's not like well, how
It
could you
means
say it's
something to
beneath me?
you.
Because that's not the man that I am. I don't eat that shit. Right. I decided that that's below my threshold of what's acceptable in my life. Right. I don't look at porn. It's not something that I deem as acceptable in my life.
I
And if you
agree.
do look at porn, sorry, I don't want to really associate myself with somebody that's doing shit that's not acceptable in
Not
my
out of
life.
judgment, just because it's contagious. Like, it's funny that
It's
Justin and
it's
I were
it,
talking off camera about this, so I'll share with you guys. So my wife and I are gonna have some uh, husband and wife time this weekend. We're getting a hotel, just staycation in Huntington Beach, and we're gonna, spend some time together. We need it. We have 2 boys and they're chaos. But I was sending my wife some videos of us. I'm allowed to say that. She's my bride, right? And, like, she was
yeah, who
laughing because
gives
I
a
still
fuck?
had them. But what I didn't tell you was the reason I have those is because I don't jerk off to pornography. It's not my thing. Like, I don't want to do that because I don't open my mind to that. My choice. I don't judge other men that do. I just don't do it. So my wife's hot. I like having sex with my bride, and I have a lot of videos of us because we have been together a long time.
Yeah,
That's what I watch.
it's
Judge me,
good.
don't judge me. I don't care. That's how I do it.
No, no, it's
Bride.
dude, yeah.
She's my
Again,
bride,
yeah.
man. You know what I mean?
I just look
Be
at it
different.
as no, 100%. And just on that topic, like I just look at it as pathetic. Like again, the guy who like has to have dessert, like that's pathetic. The guy that has to whack off to OnlyFans. You know what I always say is that why would you get an OnlyFans subscription when you could just go in the mirror and look at a pussy for free?
Where did that come from? Is that you? Dude, that's a mic drop right there. That's so true,
Yeah,
though. I know
yeah.
that's true, though, man. I mean, it's all about habits. It's all about mindset. It's all about habits. Like one of the coolest things for me, what I was thinking of when you were talking like that, Justin, was like when we have people over, like they bring carnivore stuff. Why? Because I've kept my word and I don't eat outside of that, right? I did for like a few months, but like now I'm back to the things and like I'm gonna do things. And now people know me to the degree that when they come over for parties, they bring meat and fat and like this. I don't eat outside of that. And like I
Right.
love that I've built that damn reputation. You know what I mean? Like, and or somebody says, well, will your husband eat such and such? And my wife says, you won't ever he won't ever do that. He just
No.
doesn't do that. I've built
Yeah.
the reputation where even my wife goes, he'll never do that. He doesn't break stride. Like she knows that I don't. That's Jedi shit.
I talk about this. I'm gonna be releasing a reel about this actually. Where it is like, where I set my standards, where I set my routine and why I'm so rigid and why it's bought me more freedom than anything else. And when I hear people be like, that's no way to live, you got to live a little. Okay. Um, Taking one step forward and two steps back is not living a little. That's not your path to freedom. And having like little pieces of what you want to call freedom in the moment is ultimately really just a trap and putting you back in the cage, right? If your goal is to be disciplined, rigid to a process, to a routine, to positive habits, so on and so forth, for you to achieve a life of your dreams, not a goal, an actual life of your dreams, the process of taking one step forward and two steps backwards doesn't make fucking sense.
Going backwards. But what does it
Doesn't
do to your
make
mind? What
sense.
does it do to your, what does it do to so when you start to keep your word and do all these disciplines, whatever it is that you want to cultivate, you put them here
Mhm.
and they start to compound and they start to compound and they freaking become easy, man. They just become easy. When you take a step forward and 2 steps back, you don't let them compound because you're compounding backwards. Do you know what I mean?
So if
Like,
I yeah, well,
and
yeah,
very few
so
people
so
have the
so
discipline to
you
do it.
right, well, so you understand how credit bureaus work and things like that, right? And so, like, look at, like, credit is short for what? Credibility, right? And so when you are able to sustain, positive, behavior with your credit long enough, then the bank will say, okay, well, we feel comfortable advancing you money, right? We are confident that you will pay this money back, right? And so that's your credit, right? That's your credibility in terms of your financial decision making. Okay. Well, the same thing works with your own credibility, your personal credibility, your personal
100%.
credit. So what's funny to me is it works the same exact way. And anyone that wants to argue this with me, I have a million different cases of how it does work this way, and it will not work the way that you think it will. Your short-term pleasures are your missed payment. You can make 100 payments in a row and your credit will increase by what, 10 points, 15 points? Miss one. What happens? 50 points, 80 points, right?
It's how
It's the
life
same
works,
thing.
dude. It's true.
Yep, it's the same thing. You fucking lie to yourself over and over and over again, and guess what? You ain't gonna have the confidence to extend yourself dog shit. So when it comes time to make a decision, when it comes time to do stuff, all you can think about is your missed payments.
Dude, so I don't know if we both put out a lot of content and I see some of yours, I probably don't see all of it and vice versa. So I can't remember, Justin, if I told you this story, but I just did a podcast on it, I think last week. It was something that was very powerful in my life. And you and I have talked about at least when I started to gain some notoriety with the fitness channel and things started to grow. Like what was very hard for me to kind of digest was the fact that I didn't realize that a lot of people didn't want to see me succeed because I want to see people succeed. I'm not just saying this to save face. I do. Like I like when my friends succeed, and like I guess I'm more of a rare breed. And I guess I expected that. So when I started to do well and I started to like hear certain things about good friends of mine saying certain things, it was hard for me to digest for a long time. So I was going through that and trying to like work through that. My wife was going through some heavy stuff with her family. I was going out a lot of times and people were noticing me and wanted to take pictures of me. You've been through that. I'm like, what? This is bizarre because I'm just, I don't, it's weird, right? For you, right? I'm
Just
sure
a
what for
guy.
you, right? Yeah. I'm just like, I'm just posting shit. I don't know. So it was all happening and it was an overwhelming time of my life, right? Success and finance was doing well and all this. It was just a lot. And I felt it within my soul that God had a lesson for me. And like, I'm very good at being disciplined when I know there's a lesson. I'm very good. Like, I'm too intuitive to that. So I was deep in prayer. I was fasting like crazy because I know that I can connect with God quicker. I've done it. Like, but that was the post. That podcast was on fasting and being close to God. But dude, it was months of me doing these routines and I wasn't getting the answers, right? So I was starting to get a little bit nervous. I flew out to Cabo, ironically, with my family. I think Mason was like one. I doted on them. I woke up early like I always do, 4 o'clock still, did my meditations and just like, God, what are you showing me? Like, what is the lesson here, man? And I got back, didn't catch up to the perspective. 3 days later, I'm outside on my back doing my meditations. I just did my prayers and I'm sitting there. I've told you the story. I was sitting there and meditating. When I meditate, I just kind of let my brain kind of do what it does, just sit there. And I literally, bro, no joke, heard a voice of God and it literally spoke to me and said, I'm taking you somewhere and I need you light. I literally heard that voice. It's hard to explain. Some people think I'm full of shit, whatever, it doesn't matter. I
It doesn't
literally
matter.
heard a voice and I knew exactly what he meant because it was perfect for what was going on in my life, meaning God was shaking all these dead weight off of me. People that I thought that had my back were talking shit, not having my back, family, all this stuff. And God was like saying, like, I need you light, man. I'm about to elevate you. And this is between me and you. No one else. I'm taking you somewhere and I need you light. That was like a year and a half ago, right when the channel was taken off. Now, this is like a year and a half later, multiple businesses, all these things that have happened since that time. I'm taking you somewhere and I need you light.
I need you light.
Saying, bro, like that's a true story. And like the reason I say that is because my mind's open to that because I do those types of things. I do those disciplines. I do the fasting. I say no to the cake. I get it before no matter what. That's the stuff that you and I talk about, that if you do that, God watches those disciplines and your consistency and he goes, this guy's crushing it, man. Let me bless you.
Can I point something out that happened? The minute you said, "People will think I'm full of shit," and if you go back to that timestamp right there, we both said at the same exact time, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. Right. The right people know that it's true.
Well, that's not even the point, right? You listen to God. God said to you that I need you light, meaning let go of those people,
Let go. Like
right?
I'm taking you somewhere, not them. Taking you.
Right. And maybe I didn't have the same voice of God, but I have the same exact thing. Going back to the beginning of this podcast where we discussed on look at like the guy that's yelling at yelling from the stands at the people on the field. Sit back down. We're here doing it. We listened to our purpose, whatever that form came in. If it was God telling you, to the point where we know so much that we're going to trust in God. And I want to touch on this for just a second after, and we're going to trust in what we believe we have and our purpose so much to where when God says, I need you light, when you caught yourself right there, and I caught it right there too, to where we both said at the same time, it doesn't matter.
Right.
They don't matter.
Right.
It
Straight
doesn't
up.
matter. You don't. If you're the person that doesn't want you to succeed. Let's also talk about. Let's also go back to December 22nd when you purchased your GMT. I was more excited about you purchasing your GMT than I think you were.
No, I'm excited. I'm
I
excited.
I know,
I'm
but
thinking
but
about
I'm
I'm thinking
saying, like,
about
I
investing in some other
arranged the
stuff.
whole thing. I was like, yes, I can't wait for my buddy to get a badass, like, very collectible watch. Like again, this is the stuff, like, where it's like you need your brain to be so fucking laser focused on what God has in store for you. And so that's what I wanted to touch on real quick, and then I gotta run. I have committed family time.
Love it.
So Sunday we went to Dream City Church in Phoenix. Beautiful church, great service. But the sermon was on Lazarus, and when Lazarus got sick, and Mary and Martha were both like, Jesus, you need to come, you need to heal Lazarus, we need you here right away. And he said something along the lines of that this man will not die from sickness. And sure enough, he died, right? And so Jesus shows up 4 days later, right? And Lazarus is now in the tomb, and Martha, and he said, okay, I need you to remove the stone. And Martha said to him, Jesus, you don't understand. He's been dead for 4 days. If we remove the stone, it's going to sting. And she started bringing all this logic into it, like this isn't how it works. He's dead. He's all wrapped up in his death cloth. He's all like this, and this, and
Gotta
she's
believe.
just blabbing, right? And he says, that's not. He basically says, listen, I didn't ask for all of this. I told you to remove the stone. And sure enough, she says that finally they remove the stone, or she removes the stone. She removes the stone with the help of everybody else, which was intentional, I believe. And sure enough, he gets up and he's in his death cloth and he's walking and he's alive, right? And so the point was that there is nothing that will keep you from the supernatural power of God like your own human logic.
True that.
And
True that.
so again,
Mic drop. True that.
sorry, so sorry that when we have to even think about naysayers, negativity, stuff like that, that we can so simply go, well, that's not what God has planned for us, so they don't matter. It's not, we can brush that shit right off of our shoulders. They don't fucking matter.
Right.
Sorry. We
Well,
don't
like
see
what you
you.
just
We
said
don't
though,
see you. We
but
don't acknowledge you.
you talked about that story, and which was the point was what I took from it is you have to believe. They have to believe. He said it, so you have to believe it, and it will make it so. So
What?
you
Yeah.
have to
Well, so,
believe
but
you're
you have to
worth it.
remember how the right. How the human logic. What does human logic tell you?
I'm
I have
not
to
worth it.
see to believe. No, I have to
Right.
see to believe. But that's not how anything works. You believe before you see.
Yeah, that's what faith. That's what faith is, baby. Right? That's it. You can't
So,
see it till you
so, so,
win.
yeah. So the fact that we both can go, we can talk about negativity, and then instantly both at the same exact time. Which again, Mario, if you timestamp that, we both said at the same time, yeah, it doesn't matter.
That's right.
So that's something that's so far out of our direction, because we've done this. We've built the mindset. We've done the work. We've followed God. We've done the things that we said we were going to do time and time again. Our internal credibility is absolutely through the fucking roof. We do what we say we're going to do. We commit and we execute. And that's all I got tonight.
Empowerment, baby. Empowerment. I love it. Right on, brother. Well, that's good stuff, man. I love it. Good stuff. You go spend some time with your family. I'll go spend some time with my family, and I'll catch up with you soon, buddy. Only love.
I love you,
Hey,
dude.
everybody, go
Hey
see an attorney.
guys, if you listen to this, oh yeah, I'll see you next weekend.
And that's
Um,
perfect. I'm looking forward to
but if you guys, yeah, this is how we close. If you
it.
guys listen to this and you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe. We do this for you guys. We love what we do. And this is hopefully to pour into you guys, and hopefully you can get inspired to actually take some control over your life and make some decisions that will benefit you. So if you like this, make sure you comment, make sure you hit the like button or whatever you have to do. But subscribe and continue to come back. Reach out to us in the DMs if you're looking for help, if you're looking to do something with your life, if you're looking to start a business or get into entrepreneurship or just become a better man. We're here for you. We love that. That's why we do what we do. So we'll catch you next time on the Sick Boys podcast.
Guys, later.